Recording in progress.
Good evening, everyone. Time to start our meeting. Vice President Lipoff, would you lead us in the pledge? To the flag of the
United States of America, and to the republic
for which
it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with
liberty and justice for all.
Okay, that was very loud. Well, we'll see. Please be aware that this meeting is both being audio and video recorded. And okay, I have to announce the counselors that are remote. There's more of them than there are of us. Let's see. I'll go down the list. Counselor Maliki, these are the remote counselors who are on Zoom. Counselor Maliki, Bowman, Danberg, Gentile, Greenberg, Grossman, Humphrey, Kelly, Laredo, Lucas, Markowitz, Noel, Norton, Oliver, and Wright. And the rest of us are in the room. Okay. On the first call items, Vice President Lipoff, would you do the Land Use Committee?
Thank you very much, Madam President. The report starts on page 335, our Tuesday, January 10th, January 10th meeting. Actually, on to 336. 6-23, John Caruso, request for extension of time to exercise special permit 122-21 at 9-11 Noble Street, approved 8-0. 5-23, Pharmacanis, Massachusetts, Inc., doing business as Verilife. Request for extension of time to exercise special permit 299-21 at 131 Rumford Ave, approved 7-01. 22-23, SSG Lexington Newton LLC, request to allow a marijuana retailer at 131 Rumford Ave, approved 7-01. 22-23, Susan Arnold Surveys, request to exceed FAR and to allow a garage exceeding 700 square feet at 4 Garrison Street, approved 8-0. I will move the report, but I have public hearings to assign.
Please go ahead.
The following public hearings are for tomorrow night. 33-23, Youngsung Park, request to allow a 3-story structure within 32 feet in height, with 32 feet in height, an FAR of 1.42, and to waive 7 parking stalls at 296 Watertown Street. 34-23, Yanmei Lin, request to exceed FAR and allow parking within 5 feet of the street at 50 Elmore Street. 35-23, John and Margaret Reichbach, 35, request to amend special permit 263-20 to further exceed FAR and to amend the approved site plan at 43 Prince Street. 36-23, CSSDP Newtonville LLC, request to amend special permit 48-16 to construct rooftop solar arrays at 255-257 Newtonville Ave. And the following are for the 14th of February, 37-23, 336 Cabot Street LLC, request to amend special permit 360-22 to exceed FAR at 336 Cabot Street. 38-23, Lake Pride Homes, request to construct a 5-unit dwelling and parking waiver at 194 Adams Street. 39-23, Christopher Noble, request to rezone 29 Hunter Street to MR3. 40-23, Christopher Noble, request to allow multifamily dwelling, extend nonconforming use, waive parking stalls, and allow dimensional waivers to parking at 29 Hunter Street. 41-23, Daro Aquina ACS Group, Inc., request to allow a 3-story single-family dwelling at 616 Boylston Street. And the last one, 42-23, 176 River Street LLC, request to allow rear lot subdivision at 176 River Street. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilor Crossley with the Zoning and Planning Committee.
Thank you, Madam President. The report is on page 337. Item 24-23 is reappointment of Laurie Malcolm to the Newton Upper Falls Historic District Commission by Her Honor the Mayor for a term of office to expire on December 24, 2025, which was approved 8-0. In addition, I would like to notice that the Zoning and Planning Committee has a very full week next week. In particular, the entire council is invited to a committee of the whole on February 15th for a public hearing on whether or not to adopt the specialized code. And finally, there will be a lot of materials in the packet, both on that and on the next round of material coming from UTEAL for Monday night. Then the Zoning and Planning Committee met again this evening, and I need a suspension of the rules to report out where there is no written report.
So Councilor Crossley needs a suspension of the rules. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, no. Please go ahead.
Thank you. The item is 32-23, which is Her Honor the Mayor requesting amendments to sections 5.1.4, 6.4.29, and 7.8.2 to make on-street dining permanent. The item was held, but we set a public hearing for a week from today on February 13th at 7 p.m.
Very good, thank you. Counselor Krinsman from the Programs and Services Committee.
Thank you, Madam President. Programs and Services Committee met on January 18th. First item was item 25-23, the appointment of Dr. Michael Richardson to the Parks and Recreation Commission. Programs and Services approved that item 7-0. Next item is item 26-23, the request to set early voting hours for the March 14th, 2023 special election. That item was approved 7-0. Item 27-23, a request to move Ward 2 Precinct 3 polling location was also approved 7-0. Item 28-23 was a request to move the Ward 3 Precinct 2 polling location, and that item was approved 8-0. Item 134-22, this is a discussion with city staff regarding how to integrate a year-round pool into the CIP, was voted no action necessary by a vote of 8-0. Committee also met on February 2nd, but at that meeting all items were held. With that, I would move the report, and I would like to announce a public hearing.
Please go ahead.
Item 47-23, this is the Citizens Group petition for a moratorium on new or replacement artificial turf in Newton. We will have a public hearing on that on February 16th. I anticipate that at the same meeting on the 16th, we will be receiving an update from Commissioner Banks of Park, Recreation, and Culture about the field replacement program that they're going through and the field maintenance work that they're doing, which we'll talk about grass fields as well as a component of their plan.
Okay, thank you very much. Counselor Downs, Public Safety and Transportation. Is she here? Counselor Downs, are you? I didn't read you. Are you? Is your vice chair here, Counselor Markowitz? Is that? Are you here?
I'm remote, but I'm here. There is no report.
Okay, thank you very much. Counselor Leary, Public Facilities Committee.
Thank you very much, Madam President. The public facilities, let me think where we are here. Okay. We're on page 340. The committee met on Wednesday, January 18th. The first item, 546-22, was on second call. The second item, 2923, request for a grant of location on Elliott, Boylston, Circuit Ave, Jocelyn Place, Francis Street, Charles Street, and Margaret Road. That was, the committee voted that subject to second call based on additional information from Ms. Mulroney from National Grid, which we did receive, and I believe members of the committee were able to read that. So I would like to request a suspension of the rules to poll my committee to vote that item on first call of reports this evening.
So we need a suspension of the rules so that Counselor Leary can poll her committee. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you very, very much. So members of the Public Facilities Committee, we received the information regarding the question that we had. Unless there are any questions, we held it subject to that information. So would anyone like to, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask for a yes vote on this. Would anyone like to, I'd like to hear from the committee. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Are there any nays?
One nay.
One nay. I believe that's Councillor Kelly?
Yes.
Okay, and any abstentions? No. I'm sorry, did you? No abstentions. Okay, thank you very much. So let me continue with the report. We had a reappointment of Peter Barr to the Design Review Committee, and that was for a term of office to expire December 31st, 2023. Public Facilities approved that 6-0. Madam President, I also have a public hearing to assign, and I would also request another suspension of the rules to accept 2 late filed items, and I can tell you what those are.
Okay, why don't you tell us about the public hearing, and then we'll do the late filed.
Okay. Let's see, the public hearing. Okay, the public hearing, is that 5623? Requesting a discussion regarding, no, that's the Finance Committee. Sorry. 336? 346. Okay.
Do you know when is the public hearing?
Aha.
It's February 8th, as I understand.
Okay. Let's see. This is 5823. Appropriate 280,000. Oh, sorry, that's the late file. Can't find my public hearing. What page is that on?
Your help is coming.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. So public hearing to be signed for February 8th. That's an Eversource petition for a grant of location on Center Street. And that's to install a hip guy anchor and remove 1 tree guy from the pole on the westerly side, and that's in Ward 7. And then 5023, this is National Grid petition for a grant of location to install and maintain gas main on Pleasant Street and Tyler Street. And then the late filed items.
Tell us what they are.
Yes, okay. So this is requesting a discussion regarding Newton's Economic Stability and Mobility Initiative. And that's referred to the Finance Committee. Is that also to the Public Facilities and Finance Committee? I'm sorry. It's 5823, appropriate 280,000 to complete phase 1 of the city's phosphorus control plan. And 5723. Thank you very much. And then 5723, Councilor Norton proposing an ordinance amendment to Chapter 29, Section 24C, to amend the number of residential dwelling units eligible for outdoor meters from no more than 4 dwelling units to no more than 20 dwelling units. And that's before Public Facilities and Finance. And with that, Madam President, I believe I'm ready to move the report.
Okay, we'll just have to have a vote on your late filed items. All those in favor of
Okay.
accepting those 2 late filed items, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no? Okay, very good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And Counselor Markowitz, do you have your hand up because we missed a few items that need to be reported out?
Yes, when you call, I'd forgotten that Counselor Downs was out of the country. And I thought, geez, we met in January. And then I looked at my report and I said, no, we did on the 18th. So I'd be happy to report that out now.
Please,
if you're ready,
go ahead.
Madam President. So we met on January 18th, and the first item that we covered was the annual report out from the Mr. Kozas and the traffic, just a series of all the events there. That was voted no action necessary. And that's item 8-23. Following that, we had the report out from the chief, which was a continuation of a series of report outs on various statistics. On this particular evening, we did 6722, which included crash data. Interesting to note, there were over 1,000 crashes of all varieties in the city of Newton last year. And that item, looking to see, I believe we voted no action necessary on that. Let me just check the report. Apologize for my impromptu.
Which item is that? Yeah, Counselor Markowitz, that 6722 was held?
Was held, right, 7-0. And the last item was the continuing discussion on outdoor dining, which we approved 8-0.
Okay, that's item number
And that, with that, I move the report.
52522 was that last item.
52522.
Good, thank you very much.
525, not 22.
Yep. Thank you very much. Counselor
you.
Grossman for the Finance Committee.
Thank you, Madam President. There is no report this evening. However, I would like to request a suspension of the rules in order to accept 2 late filed items. The first of those late filed items is 56-23, Councilors Albright, Grossman, and Oliver requesting a discussion regarding the use of revolving funds. And the second is 59-23, Councilors Laredo, Norton, Maliki, Baker, Gentile, Krinsman, Wright, Oliver, and Grossman requesting a discussion regarding Newton's Economic Stability and Mobility Initiative.
Okay, we need a suspension of the rules for everyone to accept that late filed item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no? Okay, thank you very much. And
Thank you.
Councilor Laredo for the Real Property Reuse Committee.
Thank you, Madam President. There is no report this evening.
Okay, thank you very much. So that concludes the first poll reports. We can vote.
Counselor Baker. Counselor Bowman.
Aye.
Crossley.
Aye.
Counselor Danbert.
Aye.
Counselor Jones. Counselor Gentile.
Aye.
Counselor Greenberg.
Aye.
Counselor Grossman.
Aye.
Counselor Humphrey.
Aye.
Counselor Kalis.
Aye.
Counselor Kelly.
Aye, with the exception of 29-23, for which I vote no.
Counselor Krinsman.
Aye.
Counselor Laredo.
Aye.
Counselor Leary.
Aye.
Counselor Lipoff.
Aye.
Counselor Lucas.
Aye.
Counselor Maliki.
Aye.
Counselor Markowitz.
Aye.
Counselor Noel.
Aye.
Counselor Norton.
Aye.
Counselor Oliver.
Aye.
Counselor Ryan.
Aye.
Counselor Wright.
Aye.
President Albright.
Aye.
Motion carries 23 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absent, with the exception of docket item 29-23, with 22 yeas, 1 nay, 1 absent.
Thank you very much. So now we can go right to the second call items, and we have one on second call, 546-22. Counselor Leary.
Thank you, Madam President. I put this item on second call, both to explain the vote of the committee and also explain my abstention. And I hope everyone is able to read a memo that I put together to include in the Friday packet to sort of preface my remarks. And essentially, I think members of I won't speak for everyone, but my sense is that members of the Public Facilities Committee are feeling between a rock and a hard spot regarding approving thousands and thousands of feet of new methane gas infrastructure when we know that according to our climate action plan and along with the Commonwealth's, is a plan to get off fossil fuels completely. So we also had some guidance from the law department regarding the limit of our authority for the Public Facilities Committee. They made clear to me that that it's really the Department of Public Utilities at the state level that regulates the utilities at this point. And our role is really limited to by Chapter 164 to dealing primarily with location of the underground facilities, excavation, street restoration, general public safety, ensure gas lines aren't placed too close to each other, and they're not too close to the surface. Those mostly are the things that we've dealt with. And for many of the years that I've been a city council member, grants of location were always very routinely passed for the most part. But lately, we've been getting closer and closer to realization that we have all these ambitious goals, but not enough actual action and plan and movement to move us in the right direction. Obviously, moving from gas heating to heat pump infrastructure and not emitting gases is going to be a long and difficult systemic movement that's going to take quite a few years. But we need to start thinking about that now. So it's very difficult to continue to vote for new gas when we're thinking that this infrastructure will be redundant in the next few decades. And yet the cost of the replacement of the gas is going on to ratepayers. So the Public Facilities Committee has been working to get more information about addressing these issues. One is to find out more about replacement, repair versus replacement, which is generally cheaper, and a citywide plan to figure out what types of actions that we need. And I heard that again and again from both my colleagues and also from many of our citizens who are very concerned about this. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that it's important that we continue to work and advocate as a community. I don't think discussions of of grants of location are the best place to have that discussion.
Councilor Leary, could I just interrupt you?
Yes.
So you've reported that out, you gave us the vote.
I'm sorry, I don't think I did.
Could you give us the vote, and then I will call on you to speak to the item?
Okay. So it's item 546-22, the request for a grant of location in Paulson Road. The Public Facilities approved it narrowly, 3-2-1, with 2 councilors opposed, myself abstaining, and 1 councilor not voting.
Okay. And now I'd be glad to call on you to speak to it. You can go on.
Okay, thank you. So where was I? So we need to, I'm going to say that I am intending to vote yes on this item to this evening. And the reason I'm doing that is because we still have a responsibility to our Newton residents who depend on gas for heating. And we did hear from a couple of residents also who had problems in that area, and a public facility, the NGrid discussed the issues of water intrusion that was causing problems there. We have to depend on our engineers and Grid's engineers to give us good information on how do we make that decision. I think we continue to need more details than we're currently getting. But at this point, I am recommending that we vote approval for that and that we find another venue to discuss issues with National Grid. And I want to remind the councilors that we do have both a memorandum of understanding with the City of Newton and Eversource, and about 2 years ago we did that, and I think that's going to come back before the committee for a discussion where I think its deadline is October of this year, and we could extend it. And just discussing about that would be another whole issue I won't get into.
Councilor Leary, you need to ask for more time.
Could I request 3 more minutes, please?
3 more minutes?
Yeah.
Councilor Leary has asked for 3 more minutes. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No?
Okay,
ahead.
thank you very much, Madam President. We also, the Newton City Council had a meeting on December 9th, 2020, that went over some of the discussion items that we've had, a safety update, how many gas leaks or grade 1 leaks the city has had. I will remind my colleagues and the public that grade 1 leaks are very serious, could possibly explosive, dangerous leaks that have to be attended to immediately. We had 193 of them in 2018. We had 209 in 2019. And I don't have all the information from 2020, but it was 141. And I can tell you that for this year, we have averaged 4 grade 1 leaks a week. That's highly explosive, dangerous leaks every week in the city. So we really haven't been making a lot of progress on that. We also have grade 2 leaks that some of them are seriously emitting large amounts of methane. They're not as dangerous because they're not in a building or an enclosed space, but they're still emitting a significant amount of methane gas. Those also have, as much as we fix them, and I know the mayor and the DPW had made an effort to the so-called super emitters to make progress on that. Still, we have more this year than we did last year. It's really a game of whack-a-mole on the gas leaks. So this is still a very serious continuing problem, and our status quo is not going to work. We still need to advocate, and I'm still looking for a working group and meetings with the utilities to continue to get more information. In addition, it's important that we advocate at the state level. And there's 2 important bills that are coming up. One from our own Senator Cindy Cream, an act relative to the future of clean heat, which is an effort to actually transition off gas. And we also have, there's a bill 4047 from Representative Armini, who replaced Lori Ehrlich on the North Shore. And it's an act relative to interveners and utility work, which would give communities a lot more authority than we have now. So that's another angle that we could work on that. And my goals here are really to see if we can make some significant movement towards actually transitioning off methane gas. The amount of money that we're spending now is estimated to be $40 billion over the course of the next several decades, which would make it one of the biggest infrastructure projects we've ever had. And again, ratepayers are paying for that. For that amount of money, we could be putting people on ground source heat pumps.
Councilor Leary, you're out of time again.
Okay, I will end there. I invite any questions from committee members and anyone who would like to follow up with other actions at a future date. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Crossley?
Thank you, Madam President. First, I want to say how much I appreciate Councilor Leary's getting underneath this issue and bringing it full forward to the attention of the Public Facilities Committee. And then I'm going to say again, because although grants of location have been routine, because we do have a responsibility to our constituents, our property owners, and we do have a state law that guides that process, and we must adhere to it. For quite a number of years now, our citizens have been coming to us and have been organizing, Mothers Out Front, for example, organizing beginning in 2016, to decry the situation that exists in our community. We are not alone. New England has some of the oldest gas systems in the country, and Massachusetts is probably the oldest, and Newton is right there. And things underground fall apart, and the system is apart and leaking. In 2015, I testified before the Department of Public Utilities with Attorney Mandel from our law department because in 2014, the legislature passed legislation that required the DPU to make a bunch of rules to give it teeth. They delayed for 2 years, and it was pretty soft when it came out. And this is a situation that really does need organization. It needs, at the state level, it needs help for communities at the state level to, regulate DPU in a way that is for the benefit of the health and well-being of all the constituents of the Commonwealth. What we testified on at the time, we stayed in our lane. Really, at the time, our city was not able to coordinate well with the gas company. Our new commissioner at the time, Jim McGonigal, was pretty new then, came in and started meeting regularly with the gas company and the electric companies to coordinate the work better within our city. And that has happened. Our city does now coordinate the gas work better with our street work and our sewer work and our water work and so forth, and it's pretty professional. However, and I just want to make clear for anyone who's listening, two things. The city of Newton may not and cannot repair gas leaks. Only the gas company can do that. They are completely independent from the city of Newton. And as I said, they're protected by state law so that they can provide their customers the service that customers want, need, or just simply need. And the other thing is that when Councilor Leary says new gas mains, I just want to make new gas lines or new gas, I just want to make sure people understand that these grants of location are not to put new mains in new streets or a main in a street where it doesn't exist. They are replacement pipes. That's not to say that we shouldn't look carefully at it, and we ask a lot of questions each time to ensure public safety and about the condition of the roads and the follow-up and all of that.
Councilor Crossley, you need to ask for more time.
1 minute, please.
Councilor Crossley would like another minute. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. So I want to vote yes on this item because we heard from people in that general area, and this is in Ward 5, which is my ward, that previously replaced pipes solved a problem where there was water intrusion in the pipes. This is the same general area. They have the same, groundwater table. I think for me, it would be irresponsible to vote no on this for a couple reasons. One, we heard that it's a real problem in the area. I don't know if repair or replacement is the better avenue, but that's the point. The second reason is I don't know. I don't have the expertise or the schooling or even enough information to be able to think that I should challenge the gas company when they're trying to repair or replace pipes when they see a problem. So at this point in time, I think we do need a lot more information. I support Councilor Leary's interests in gathering that information, and we'll do as best we can under the limitations that we have as a city. But I'm really very pleased and proud of Councilor Leary for joining the group of multiple communities that deal with this issue on a monthly basis, which I used to attend until I got 2020, something happened with zoning. So, so I am voting yes on this item, and I hope my colleagues will join me. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Ryan.
Thank you, Madam President. When I came on the council, I had a lot to learn, and you think you know about climate and climate change, but you don't know the particulars. So when I said, well, let's just do a docket item, say no one can hook up to the gas line anymore. Well, I was schooled on that one. So I know we have to work with our delegation on Beacon Hill. We have to do home rule petitions. But I would like to do that. I would like to work very hard in a working group, as Councilor Leary said, to do this. We have so much construction going on in this city right now, and this is what bothers me the most, is watching all these tear downs and all these new residential homes that replace small homes with a larger carbon footprint, and the trenches are out front to the street hooking up to the gas lines. And I'd love that we would have the power to just say, oh, you got to use heat pumps now. That's getting ahead of it, but I learned we just can't do that. But I would like to see the day that happens, including with our large affordable housing projects, with our large apartment buildings, with our large condo developments. And I think we should really make it a priority to do this. I won't see it in my lifetime, maybe I will. But when people start to see South Boston permanently underwater, maybe they'll start taking these small things like heat pumps and not hooking up to the gas main seriously. I know my children will, but I also wanted to mention that we just had this very cold weather, and there's been a lot of talk about the heat pumps wouldn't work in cold weather. Well, I'm happy to say that a lot of people with them reported in on social media that would, some of the areas that were, down to 15 and 16 degrees below zero, and they reported that they worked fine. So I want to get on this fast, and anything I can do to help, any working group I can be on, any of my connections on Beacon Hill, I want to get this done, and let's make it a priority. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Ryan. Councilor Humphrey?
Thank you, Madam President. I completely agree with the remarks from Councilor Leary and with her memo, so I won't repeat that because I'm sure that everyone wants to get out of here relatively quickly tonight. But I appreciate that we're taking the time to check in using these docket items to talk about this issue, even if legally we don't have a lot of flexibility here. I think it is a valuable and important tool for us to be able to keep hammering away on this conversation. I know a lot of people looked at me pretty funny when I brought this up at the beginning of the previous term when I was new. And a lot of people weren't happy that I was bringing it up on some fairly routine grants of location. But I appreciate that more councilors have been sort of made more aware of this issue and put more attention on this issue as a result of me hammering away at this on all of these grants of location. And Councilor Leary has certainly taken up that cause as well. Some of the previous grants of location that we've had to deal with in the past 3 years there's been no safety case made for them, or they were completely new infrastructure, including for streets that didn't have that infrastructure already. And that's a different situation than the items that we had tonight, including the item before us now, both of which happen to be in Ward 5, my ward. But I think in this case, they actually did make, along with the residents, a reasonably compelling safety argument in favor of doing this, as opposed to just that it was financially in their interest and nothing else. So I will actually be voting for these, although I think this is probably only the third that I've actually voted in favor of. And I'll leave it there, but I do appreciate that we're taking the time to talk about the broader issue, even if this is a fairly narrow item. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Laredo? Councilor Laredo?
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Madam President. So I appreciate very much Councilor Leary bringing this item to our attention and the overarching concerns that transcend this particular docket item. I think she's expressed them quite clearly, and so therefore I'm going to request that we call the question and vote on this item, please.
Councilor Leary?
Do I need to request more time?
Well, the Councilor Laredo just called the question. Do you have an objection to that?
I don't have, I just wanted to add a couple of things about the next.
Well, we can't unless you have an objection.
Madam President, if Councilor Leary wants to add something, I'm very happy to withdraw my motion for the moment. So
okay. Councilor Leary and then Councilor Baker, you haven't spoken yet. Would you like to speak on this?
Just briefly, one of the questions has been asked of me, and I don't know the answer at some point, whether any of this infrastructure could be used for an alternative fuel like hydrogen, which might have a whole lot of different environmental impacts. So that's not a question I'm sure anyone can answer tonight, but it's one of those issues that I'd like to know about at some point. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilor Leary?
Thank you, Madam President. I was actually going to briefly mention that National Grid really has a different agenda than we do. We're working towards building electrification and getting off fossil fuels. National Grid has had a proposal with DPU to actually continue to keep the infrastructure for so-called green methane, which is methane from, say, landfills, farms, and anaerobic digesters, which have their place, but not to heat a whole city, and also to use hydrogen gas. Attending the DPU meetings and educating myself, there's a lot of difficulties with doing that, and most advocates agree that electrification is the way to go and to get completely off those fuels. And I just wanted to mention our next meeting is, we have both a resolution for a future without gas that myself and 14 colleagues have signed on to, and we also have a request for a grant of location for more gas. And this is for a brand new house that's been rebuilt and is getting new gas. And that's something that we should have caught. These new houses, we should have an opportunity to at least offer them alternatives, and that is still not happening. So we're missing a lot of opportunities where we do have some control over. And I would just like to say, anyone who would like to join me in participating in the multi-town gas leaks that have been very effective and have been working closely both with our own Senator Cream and with the other item that I talked about that would give communities a bill from the state that would give communities a lot more power and authority over the gas pipes in their own community. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I think we are ready to get to vote.
May I call the question at this point?
Yes, you may.
I'm calling the question.
Counselor Baker. Counselor Bowman.
Aye.
Counselor Crossley.
Aye.
Counselor Danberg.
Aye.
Counselor Downs. Counselor Gentile.
Aye.
Counselor Greenberg.
Aye.
Counselor Grossman.
Aye.
Counselor Humphrey.
Aye.
Counselor Kalis.
Aye.
Counselor Kelly.
Aye.
Counselor Krinsman.
Aye.
Counselor Laredo.
Aye.
Counselor Leary.
Aye.
Counselor Lipoff.
Aye.
Counselor Lucas.
Aye.
Counselor Maliki.
Aye.
Counselor Markowitz.
Aye.
Counselor Noel.
Aye.
Counselor Norton.
Aye.
Counselor Oliver.
Aye.
Counselor Ryan.
Aye.
Counselor Wright.
Aye.
President Albright.
Aye.
Motion carries 23 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absent.
Thank you very much. That concludes our work, Counselor.
President Albright?
Motion to adjourn.
Wait. President Albright?
Yes, who's that?
Me, Council Lucas.
Oh, Counselor Lucas. Yes, what is it?
We didn't hear a report from real property reuse.
Yeah, we have no
Yes, we
report
did.
from.
I did, there was no report.
Oh, I must have
It
missed
was
it.
so brief. It slipped by because I was just, I was able to get through it
It's
so
the
quickly.
most
that you
efficient
barely
committee.
noticed.
We
in-
didn't
of
hear
all the
how
committees.
Counselor Becky Grossman's baby voted.
That's right. Sorry.
They're the future.
I don't see any reason why she can't, by the way. We've had this
Sorry.
discussion before.
Okay, well, I think we're on to other things now.
She's
And
adorable.
Counselor Lipoff has moved to
Motion to adjourn.
okay, thank you very much. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.